Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the LiveFitNow podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. And today is quite a special episode. I have chosen just a few special highlights from the last 30 episodes. So I like to ask people that come on to the podcast one thing everyone would benefit from knowing. And people can select from so many different experiences and points of view. So I have selected just a few from the last 30 episodes and put them together in a compilation. I really hope you enjoy this format. It's a one-off special. The conversation episode will be back next week. So without further ado, let's hear the clips of one thing everyone would benefit from knowing. The first clip takes us back to episode 3 with Dr. Valerie Jerome, who talks about eye health.
If there was one thing that you could leave people with, one thought that you think we would all benefit from knowing, what would that one thing be?
I would say, honestly, I would just say, treat yourself like you treat other people, but remember to look after yourself, because if we don't look after ourselves, we can't look after anyone else. That's what this whole situation has taught me. You know, I was so worried about my business and getting my patients right that I wasn't looking after myself. And if I'm not in a position to take care of other people, what am I doing? You know, what are we doing? We've got to look at there's a balance that we have to find between helping other people and helping ourselves, and realizing that helping ourselves in a way will actually benefit everyone else.
Next, episode 6, Sophie Gardner talks sobriety.
If there was one thing that you can share with everyone, what would that be?
Well, it is such a personal journey, alcohol and the aftermath of alcohol and drinking and hangovers. They affect everyone differently. But the one thing I would share with everyone or tell everyone is, if you are finding that you feel awful after drinking, or if you think you might be drinking too much but you're not sure, or you take things too far when you are drinking, or you upset family or friends, or you upset yourself, you know, you find that you feel really anxious and horrendous after a night of drinking, giving up a go. Like, that's all you don't have to give up forever. You don't have to tell yourself forever, but just give yourself 30 days. Everyone bangs on about dry July or sober October, dry January and sober October and stuff, but they are doing it for, I can prove I can do 30 days and then I'm going to get drunk at the end of it. So it's almost a bit, I don't really necessarily agree with the, I get it, and it's good to give your body a break, but they're always seeing the reward at the end is to get smashed at the end of sober October or dry January. Whereas what I'd say to people who really have not got a great relationship with alcohol, or it does make them feel rubbish, try and give yourself 30 days off and see how you feel at the end of that 30 days. Don't think, 30 days off, then I can have a drink again. Just try not to drink for 30 days and try something new and see how you feel mentally and physically, and what happens after that. That's probably what I'd want to share with someone. Like I say, you deserve more than a hangover. You deserve more to waste days in bed just because you drank some drinks. You won't be boring. Everyone thinks if you don't drink, you must be boring, but it's the opposite. And that's what I would share.
Next, we return to episode 8 with Dr. Lindsay Browning talking about sleep and how we can get more.
So I would like to finish off by giving you the floor to share one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
I would say trying to have a set bedtime and a set wake time would be the most important thing, for so many reasons. So it will help to strengthen your circadian rhythm, because you're going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. It will help to protect you from that Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just scrolling that is not helpful to your mental health or your sleep health. And it also will keep you getting up in the morning. When people are depressed or are going through a difficult time, often we don't get up in the morning because we're just sad. We don't want to face the day. And that can exacerbate everything, because as soon as you stop getting up, you don't get the sunshine, you don't get the social interaction. So if you regularly get up at 7, half 7, 8 o'clock, whatever your time is, no matter what, you're going to get up and you're going to face the day, and you're going to have routine, and that's going to help your sleep, but it's going to help your mental health, and it's going to help your whole everything. So I would say, even though it's a bit boring, it's got so much goodness about it, having a set bedtime, set wake time.
Next is my inspirational client who rode 3,000 miles across the Atlantic, getting a world record along the way. Episode 10, Kevin Gaskill.
If there was one thought that you can leave the audience with, one thing to take away, what would that be? And it can be related to anything that you would like.
I think it goes back to what I said about clarity of vision. What is it that you want for yourself when you are successful? What does that look like? And that could be anything from I want to break a world record and row in the ocean to I want to be a mum with 2 kids, happy, healthy, and live in Newbury and enjoy my life and be relatively fit. And that's wonderful. To other people who say to me, I want to be a multimillionaire, how do I do that? And I always say to them, listen, the multimillionaire comes from being successful at something else. What is it you want to be successful at? So for me, it's always about pulling back to what does your success look like? When you're successful, describe it to me. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And if you're honest with yourself and you can write those things down, I believe people can achieve extraordinary things. And I've seen people achieve extraordinary results. And when I'm asked about running teams, I said, look, my belief is very simple. Ordinary people, and we're all ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results if they know what they're setting out to achieve. And so far for me, it's been great fun working with teams of ordinary people and achieving extraordinary results.
Next up, episode 11, when I speak to Dr. Rebecca Lewis about the menopause.
To start wrapping up, I would like to finish off by giving you the floor to share one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
Oh gosh, well, I would say live life to the full, and don't put up with symptoms when it's actually, there's some very safe, effective treatments that not only help your symptoms, but your future health, which is important. That's really what I'd like to get across.
Stephanie Mara Fox talks physical and emotional hunger in episode 12.
I'd like to finish off by giving you the floor to share one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
Oh. The one thing I think everyone should know is that you are enough, just as you are. That you're good enough, that you're beautiful and amazing and wonderful and fantastic, and there are people out there who will be able to see your bright shining light, and you don't need to change that for anybody. You just get to find the people who are able to really embrace and accept you as you.
In episode 15, I talked with Johanna Dahlman about alopecia, recovery without medicine, and creating alopecia angels.
And if there was one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing, what would that be?
That there's more options than what you're getting at the doctor's office. That there's other options to healing, not just healing alopecia, but to healing any disease, healing cancer, healing diabetes, healing OCD, healing autism. There's so many other alternative routes. And just because you said, I've tried it all, I've done it all, keep trying. Keep looking forward to that. When I started my health journey, it was beyond conventional medicine. It was Ayurveda, it was traditional Chinese medicine, it was feng shui, it was anything and everything, including chakras, including like all the woo-woo stuff and crystals, but also the other things. I attended conferences, I attended groups. I truly did everything, but I also got the results, and so this is why I even have a blog post on this where it says, you've tried everything, but you really haven't, because you haven't. You know, there's so much more that you could be doing. And maybe you have tried everything, and maybe you know everything, but you also have a blind spot.
Episode 16 saw me chat with Lauren Foster, a happiness coach, who shared her one thing with us all. So I would like to finish off by giving you the floor to share one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
Everyone, one thing that everyone would benefit from knowing. Happiness is a choice. You can always choose to be happy first. That's the overlying, that's everything. You get to choose what you're going to look at no matter what. So choose to look at things that please you, or choose to look at things that you hate and to complain about. But own your choice. And if how you feel and being happy is important to you, then look at things that make you happy. It's so simple. And when you train your brain to be this way, one of my teachers, my business teachers, she's a branding coach, and she did a great little video recently about it's a long word, but basically it's that your brain filters out about 95% of what's going on around you because it just can't take in all of it. So your brain is very selectively taking in information. You notice this when you decide to buy a certain car and suddenly you see that car everywhere.
So true.
Yeah, so this is what's happening. And so if you teach your brain that you want to look for things that are pretty, things that are happy, things that feel good, then that's what your brain looks for. But if you teach your brain that you want to look for people who are complaining, you want to look for people who are fighting, you want to look for people who are mean, you want to look for people who are cutting you off in traffic, then that's what your brain is going to show you. So you get to choose. That's it. That's the simplest, most universal message. Choose what you pay attention to.
Next up, we're taken back to episode 17 and kickboxer Andy Gray. So I would like to finish off by giving you the floor to share one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
Oh, one thing that everybody would benefit from knowing. Oh, I suppose I honestly feel that there's elements of life that are competition. So don't practice a bad habit, and if you're going to go for it, go to the win. And as I say, I've taught, I don't just mean in competition within sport. I just mean in life in general. If you're going for something new or you want to really succeed, treat it as a competition and go for the win. But don't be afraid to not get that goal. Either it's learn from the loss, take it on the chin, but be upset that you haven't won this. So it pushes you and motivates you more. And that's just the only thing that would be for me. Enjoy the experience, but go for the win and try to win whatever your goal is.
I talked about all things body positivity with the wonderful Kate Huffman in episode 18. I would like to finish off by giving you the floor, although I kind of feel like that was wonderful what you just said, to share one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
You have inherent value right now. You don't have to do a single thing or be a single thing. You're fully worthy, period.
Next up, we return to episode 21 with Louise Woolsey on why we all need basic first aid knowledge. I'd like to sort of start bringing this to a close by giving you the floor to share one thing that you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
That you can be a fabulous first aider with zero knowledge and skills, just by stepping forward, being willing to go and help. You don't need to know anything. If you, as I said earlier, if all you do is emotional care, just be human. You stay with them, you talk to them. You have no idea what's wrong with them. Help's on its way. You just be that person who is there, as opposed to the person who walks on by. That is still fabulous first aid. You can save their life without knowing anything.
Next up, episode 25 with Kirsty D, talking self-love.
The big takeaway that I would like to give anybody listening is that self-love is important, it matters, and it's love, and everybody benefits when you do it. Everybody.
And finally, we return to episode 26, where I chat with Sue Loncarrick, founder of Women Living Well Over 50, telling us why we should never give in to the number, and aging is all in how we approach it. And I would like to start drawing to a close by finishing off to give you the floor to share one thing you think everyone would benefit from knowing.
I just think that people would benefit from just believing in themselves, just believing and letting go of those things that are holding you back, because it's not easy to do that, but once you do, that freedom that you feel can just open up life to you.
And there we have it, a selection of one thing everyone would benefit from knowing from a few of my guests from the first 30 episodes of the Live Fit Now podcast. Thank you so much for listening to that episode. I hope you enjoyed the slightly different format of this episode and also have been inspired to perhaps go back and listen to some episodes that you may not already have heard. Thank you so much for listening. I would really appreciate if you would rate this podcast, follow the podcast, head to social media, share with your family and friends. The best way to grow and build this podcast and get this information out to people, which means so much to me, is for you to share with your family and friends. I really appreciate every single share. Please do tag me, ask me any questions that you may have, any subjects you may want to be covered, or perhaps some people that you know I should have a conversation with. So drop me an email, hello@livefitnow.co.uk, or follow the Live Fit Now podcast on all of the social medias. Until next Thursday.